Greetings, my friends. Jimmer Lins here with your Source Filmmaker Tip of the Day. Today is Tip of the Day number 9, and before I even get started, again, I want to extend a gigantic round of thanks to all of those who are subscribing and watching these videos. It's very gratifying to me to be able to bring these to you, and I'm glad that so many people are getting good stuff out of these videos. I have a stack of suggestions for tips and requests for tips that I really do want to get to. I can't get to all of them as quickly as I would like. Some require a little bit more engineering than others. Some will require me to learn a few things before I can comfortably do a tip of the day on it. But rest assured, I am working on getting to them. Also, I have a day job, and so some days I just don't have as much time in the evening to do them, so I have to do a slightly simpler one. But I will always endeavor to I will always endeavor to keep it interesting and entertaining, or at the very least interesting. Today I thought we would depart from form just a little bit, and I would show you something that you may not be aware about Source Filmmaker. So I'm not going to show you how to do something in Source Filmmaker. I'm going to show you something that came with Source Filmmaker. If you've watched Meet the Pyro or you've watched the Valve videos about Source Filmmaker, at the end of most of them there's an animated logo that says created with Source Filmmaker. I've seen a number of requests from people on the forums and in other forum areas where people say, hey, how can I get this video? And the nice part is, it is included with Source Filmmaker. What's even cooler is that not only is it included with Source Filmmaker, it's actually made in Source Filmmaker. So rather than sending a copy of the video, they actually sent the DMX file. It's actually in the distribution of Source Filmmaker. So you can load it up and you can use it. You can export it as a movie. And then what I do, or would recommend you do, is use something like After Effects, or in my case, I use Virtual Dub. Whatever your video editing preferences are, you can export your main movie and you can export the logo, and then you can use a post-processing program like that to stitch the two together. My goodness, you wouldn't think that I speak for a living. And then you can then send that off to YouTube or wherever its final destination might be. So with that here, we'll take a look here. I'm just going to play it since I already loaded it. And we can see, all right, it plays it there on the camera, and that's pretty cool. And that's, again, it's in the distribution. And let me show you exactly where it is. You will find it in your Steam folder, Steam apps /common/source filmmaker /game /tf_movies /elements /sessions /logo /sfm sfm_logo.dmx, and it is a full-on Source Filmmaker file. In fact, the Source Filmmaker logo, oddly enough, is actually a model, and it is available as a model in the model browser. You can add the Source Filmmaker logo to other maps if you like, just by using Create Animation Set for new model. And you could type SFM and it will appear here. Now, I'm not going to spawn it in this map because there's really no need, but you can see, if I zoom in here a little bit, and I'm going to turn off the ground so it doesn't, you can see that it's actually a model. And if I rotate it, you can see that it's got no thickness or anything like that. So that's what they used. And then I'm going to look here at the SFM logo 1, and you can see, once I switch into the timeline mode, that you've got the various joints. And if I scrub forward so that there's actually a light showing, you can see that each of these joints is right there. And all they're really doing is they've just created a timeline, and they have just animated each of these elements through a sequence that makes it do this little spiral thingy. And let me see, let me find, there, joint reel 4 is right there, and it's just simply being animated in a circle like that by having the joints pulled out, and then they ran this little timeline thing here. I assume they did a lot of work to make it look exactly perfect. But it's interesting that instead of drawing it and using a animation tool, they just did it in Source Filmmaker. And it kind of proves the concept that Source Filmmaker is an extremely versatile tool that is more than just animating 3D models for a game. Another interesting thing, and if you open this up, you're going to find a lot of neat little things. You'll notice here on the right that it's tipped a bit because we're in the work camera. And if I go in here and I zoom out a bit, you will notice something, especially if I go over here. So if I go back to the beginning of the clip, you can see that the camera is there, and it looks like the clip is rotating. But because this is in a black map, which I believe the map is called black.bsp or darkroom.bsp. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but I think it's dark room, and it's basically just a room that's black, and so there's no light, and it allows you to create these interesting effects. So you could do something similar to this yourself if you felt the need to do that. When I press play, though, look at what happens. The logo itself is not animating. Or excuse me, it is animating, but it is not rotating. Rather, the camera rotates to provide that rotating effect. Also, there is more than one light here. There's light 1, and if I go back here into the motion editor, we can see that light 1 is over there, while light 2 is the one that actually moves across the background to provide that interesting effect. Light 1, on the other hand, is there in the foreground to supply a little bit of foreground illumination so that you can actually see it from the front instead of having it just purely backlit. So, I mean, this seems like a really simple little animation. Oh, and there's a third light too. And what does that one do? That one probably provides a little bit more of a fill is my guess. I'm not totally certain. I haven't looked at it in that level of detail, but you get the idea is that there's a lot to learn, even from this terrifically simple animation, how they can manipulate things in Source Filmmaker and maybe give you a few ideas about some of the things that are possible with Source Filmmaker. That I'm going to flatten that out a little bit. And the cool part is that all of this stuff is done in the Source Filmmaker tools. They literally created everything in Source Filmmaker. Now, I don't know how they made this model. I am not a modeler myself. I wish I was, because I've got some great ideas that involve making them, so I've been researching how to make 3D models, but it is really not something that I know much about, unfortunately. So a long road to go there. But if you know how to make models, you can do stuff like this. Even these two-dimensional, let's see, they've got literally 0 thickness as far as I can tell. And it's not even visible from the other side. So it's a trivial little model, but it's animatable from the right angle, and it gets you the Source Filmmaker animated logo, which is a really cool thing. So with that is your Source Filmmaker tip of the day, such as it is, how to find the Source Filmmaker animation in the Source Filmmaker folders. And again, I'll just pull it up here. If I go to recent, you'll see it's in Common, Source Filmmaker, Game, TF Boobies, Elements, Sessions, Logo, SFM Logo.dmx. And another tip, if you are interested, there are a bunch of other DMX files that you will find in the Source Filmmaker folder, in addition to Meet the Heavy and Meet the Engineer, which I'm sure a lot of you have already opened up and played with. There's a ton of other good DMX files in there, including all of the tutorial videos that Valve has already published on YouTube in DMX form. So you can look at them right there in Source Filmmaker and follow along, which is something that you might find useful. All right, so I'm going to be quiet now and let you get back to making cool movies. As always, I am Jimmer Lins, and I am really pleased to be able to bring you these tips of the day. Thank you again for watching, and I do hope that you enjoy using Source Filmmaker. Have a great day, everybody.